Andrew Cuomo is outraged after videos and photos surfaced showing people massing by the hundreds outside of bars all throughout Manhattan and even the Hamptons. You see, they're gathering in defiance of CDC guidelines, and Cuomo himself tweeted, "Don't make me come down there." And now he's threatening to shut down all these businesses. The good, noble, and honest Andrew Cuomo making sure that all of these people are not going to be out spreading COVID. Oh, wait. What's this video here with thousands of retweets? This is what the Black Trans Lives Matter protest looks like in Brooklyn right now. Oh, you mean to tell me that the Black Lives Matter gathering is like 100 times larger than all of these local gatherings for a drink? And Andrew Cuomo himself is tweeting against the bars at the same time this massive protest is going on? June 14th, 12:27 p.m. We have received 25,000 complaints of reopening violations. Bars or restaurants that violate the law can lose their liquor license. People with open containers in the street can be fined. Police and protesters not wearing masks can be fined. Local government must enforce the law. Well, thank you, Cuomo, for mentioning protesters not wearing masks can be fined. And thank you for saying you may actually go as far as to reverse the reopening and then completely ignoring the fact that basically at the exact same time you're tweeting about this, thousands of people are protesting. Welcome to the double standard, everybody. You see, we used to live on one timeline where we were all kind of like, arguing about things, but for the most part, they were consistent in the arguments. The tribal arguments were tribal and they kind of made sense. Over time, and in the past several years, it's begun to fall apart. And it got strange when people started calling, people like me or Dave Rubin conservatives. Now, Dave may have actually adopted more right-wing positions as he's evolved on certain issues. But then it started to get weird when they were like, Tim Pool's conservative. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I made a whole video about being pro-choice. Nope. Doesn't even matter anymore if you're pro-choice because the timelines have split. And now we're simultaneously occupying two different realities. One in which anybody who goes out is in defiance of CDC guidelines, of state guidance, and they will have to shut your business down. And the other where everyone's dancing in the street, happily celebrating, and you're getting mixed messages from the politicians. I'll tell you what, man. If you want to tell me I can't go out for a drink, I don't live in your state, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and point to all these people who are protesting, and I'll tell you what I'll do. How about we stage a protest at the local pub? Yes, that's right. In defiance of brutality and racism, we all will have a drink, a celebration of the changes to come, and we'll pour one out for those who have lost their lives. If we do that, will you then leave the alone? Just call it a protest? Let's read this story, and then we'll talk about what's going on with COVID in New York City. The Hill says, Cuomo said he would reverse the reopening process for individual parts of the state if they do not abide by social distancing practices. I am warning today in a nice way, consequences of your actions. We have 25,000 complaints statewide. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to them. They are rampant and there's not enough enforcement. Okay, is anybody complaining about the protests? Is anybody in New York calling in to complain about the protests? I bet you they aren't. Probably because people are worried about being canceled or attacked. I am not going to allow situations to exist that we know of a high likelihood of causing an increase in the spread of the virus. Wait, what? Dude, how is this guy going to get reelected? I do not respect the arguments that say people are too stupid to understand what's going on. Rules for thee, but not for me. He's literally saying, I am not going to allow situations to exist that we know. Shut up. Yes, you are. There's 1,000+ people marching right now in a protest. There is literally nothing. I'm sorry. Nothing that will make me care about COVID ever again. You see, listen, when the protesters opposing the lockdown went out in the street and they were saying things like reopen, I want my job back. I want to get my life back. I want my business back. I said, they have a right to protest, even though there's potential they'll get sick. And I respect it. Maybe they should social distance. Even Ben Shapiro was like, if you're going to protest, make sure you social distance. Some people went to church in their cars and they did not leave their cars and they got fined anyway. And now where are we? Turning a blind eye to all of the protests. Yeah, you're going to allow it. We get it. That's the problem with the double standard. I can't believe that someone would tell me Trump's approval rating or Trump's the polling is that low. I just don't buy it. I really don't. Either people are lying, the press is lying, the people being polled are lying. But I'll tell you what, man, you have to be dumber than a box of rocks to think they actually care. So no, let me tell you this. There is quite nothing you can say to me that will make me ever care about COVID again. Because while I entertained that people have a right to protest, be it for Black Lives Matter or for reopening, they would still get sick. Now you don't care, but you care about the other one. You're simultaneously saying you can't go outside, but psst, hey guys, you're good. You're good. Yeah, okay, sorry, dude, I don't buy it. Cuomo said Manhattan and the Hamptons were the source of most of the complaints, adding that the state had never received more complaints in a shorter period of time. Manhattan and the Hamptons are the leading areas in the state with violations. These are not hard to spot violations. People send videos of these violations, footage and photos of locales such as St. Mark's Place and Hell's Kitchen packed with people. Many of them without masks have circulated over the weekend. That's right. Look at this. Look at this video of people without masks gathering by the thousands in Brooklyn. Is anybody going to send that to Cuomo? The governor said that flouting the reopening guidelines could threaten the progress of the state. Once the nation's epicenter of the virus, adding, we are not going to go back to that dark place because local governments didn't do their jobs. Nah, I don't buy it. I'm done. I do not buy it. Okay? They're going to come back and one of two things are going to happen. We've already seen articles pop up where they're like, we can't explain why the COVID cases are rising in these urban jurisdictions. Bill de Blasio was like, we're shocked that we're getting more reports of COVID. How could this have happened? How? They don't care about you. They don't care about the protests. They just want to be left alone. They don't care about your health and safety. Otherwise, they would call it the protests. There's no principle here, simply pandering for political points. Why do you think they would do anything they do after this? Like, why would you give them the benefit of the doubt on anything they do supposedly to help you? They're not. What they're saying right now is because the tribal left is like, COVID is bad. They're saying COVID is bad, don't reopen your business. But because the tribal left is saying protest is good, they're saying by all means go and protest. There is nothing here that makes sense. So you have to convince me now that people in this country are looking at this and going, seems fine to me. People shouldn't be allowed to go have a drink, but they should be allowed to protest. There's no logic there. Absolutely none. Cuomo called on local officials to step up, saying Albany would be forced to step in otherwise, saying that he has contacted bar and restaurants depicted in some of the viral footage and told them their liquor licenses could potentially be at stake. Show a modicum of respect, he said. Wear masks. No, what he's basically saying is kiss my boot. I will destroy your business. I will ruin your livelihood if you don't do as I say. Now, you want to go protest with Black Lives Matter? You're free to do so. That's totally different, apparently. New York has moved to reopen on a regional basis, with New York City recently moving into phase 1 of the state's 4-stage reopening plan, which means retailers and restaurants may only resume business for curbside pickup, while Long Island, which includes the Hamptons, has entered phase 2. Yeah. Here's Anna Kasparian mocking Donald Trump, just sharing this for real Donald Trump, who genuinely loves seeing footage of large crowds. Happy birthday, bunker boy. Meanwhile, these are the NYC neighborhoods still experiencing alarming COVID infections. What's that? You've got both Brownsville and Williamsburg, and you've got Flatbush, Brooklyn neighborhoods. And what's going on in Brooklyn? Thousands of people marching through the streets. I don't trust any of these politicians, man. I have to wonder, what is their real goal? If they're telling me, okay, that you can't go outside because you'll get sick, but then they're telling other people they can, I don't think that's the real reason. So then what are they doing? Well, the Black Lives Matter protests hurt Donald Trump because, as we know, peaceful protests generate positive press coverage, which gets people voting Democrat. And shutting down businesses hurts Donald Trump because it makes the economy do worse. That's the only thing I conclude. I can conclude that everything Andrew Cuomo is doing is simply because he hates Donald Trump. Now, I guess it's a tribalist thing. The tribes have what they have their prescribed causes. I don't care if you want to protest. I don't care if you want to get a beer. Guess what? The First Amendment says peaceably assemble. You can make up for whatever reason you want to do it, I guess. You want to go out and have a drink? You're peaceably assembling. There you go. You want to go out and protest? By all means. This is not me criticizing the protests. This is me criticizing the government and the Democratic politicians who are lying to our faces for political gain. They will do everything they can to win. They will lie, they will cheat, and they will steal. Unfortunately, there are probably a lot of dumb people who eat it up. And they desperately try to defend why they're protesting, saying things like, oh, well, we're risking COVID. We know the stakes. Well, when the conservatives were out, you said they weren't risking their lives. They were risking grandma's life because they could spread the disease. Now everything seems to just change in their favor. Well, now it's okay. It's okay when we do it. It's not okay when you do it. To all these businesses in New York who had their windows smashed out and the ones who didn't, who are struggling to open, why would you support this government? I'm still hearing people want to vote Democrat after all this. And I get it, but maybe just not Cuomo. Sure, fine, whatever. All of these problems that these blue cities are seeing, I don't understand why people don't just say, I'm going to try something else. What have you got to lose, man? I'm not saying you should vote Republican. You can vote third party. You can vote for any other party, but stop voting for these people that are lying and spitting in your face. Thousands of people protesting. And as expected, the double standard is so insanely obvious, man. I'll leave it there. I got a couple more segments coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.